Hello, and welcome back to Train Sim World 2. I figured it's about time I revisited this game, especially after realising I haven't played it since the middle of April. So in this video, we're just going to do some simple rail fanning on 4 randomly chosen routes, starting with the Arosa Line in Switzerland. As well as this one, I've also recorded a separate gameplay video featuring the RhB G6 on Rhine-Ruhr-Osten, which you can check out through the link in the top right corner. Rivet Games' Arosa Line add-on was released in March 2021, and includes the 26km long route from Chur to Arosa, though the towns are only about 14km apart as the crow flies. The line has a tough rolling gradient of 1 in 17, as well as several winding curves and speed limits averaging between 33 and 35km an hour. Motive power-wise, this route only includes the RhB GE 4/4 Mark II electric locomotive and EW1 passenger coaches. There's also a separate add-on that adds some extra GE 4/4 Mark II liveries and a fancy Christmas-themed observation coach. The first location we'll be visiting in this video is Chur, famous for being the oldest town in Switzerland. The main railway station is primarily served by the meter-gauge Rheinische Railway, with Swiss Federal Railways running standard gauge trains to the capital city of Zurich. Deutsche Bahn, the national German railway company, also runs Intercity Express or ICE trains from Chur to Hamburg-Altona. But sadly, the only trains represented at this station in TSW2 are the meter-gauge Arosa Line trains. Speaking of which, the Arosa platforms are actually outside the main station on Bahnhofplatz. This line runs through the streets of Chur for at least the first 2 kilometers, passing Chur Altstadt station on the way. And here we have the GE 4/4 Mark II locomotive, of which 10 examples were built in 1973. A second batch of 13 was built in 1984, though the last one, number 633, didn't enter service until January 1985. Initially used throughout the core Rheinische Railway system, these locomotives didn't start running to Arosa until 1997. Following the line's conversion to 11kV 16 2/3 Hz AC electrification, having previously used 2400 volts DC. In real life, the ABE 8/12 Allegra units also run on this route, though for whatever reason the Allegra is completely absent in TSW2. Fortunately, the Allegra does feature in the old train simulator version of the Arosa Line, which I've featured in at least one of my previous videos. Come to think of it, it doesn't really make any sense why Rivet Games decided to leave out the Allegra for the TSW2 version. In real life, all but one of the GE 4/4 Mark II engines are still in service, with number 628 having been withdrawn and scrapped in 2019 after an accident. Apparently the class leader, number 611, will be preserved at some point in the future. And now we come to Paste, one of 6 intermediate stations on the Arosa Line. It sits at 1,244 metres above sea level and 14.35 kilometres from Chur, although that is not as the crow flies. The next route we'll be featuring is Boston Sprinter, which was released on August 20th, 2021. I've covered this route plenty of times in the past, so I won't go into too much detail over what's included. All I'll say is that this pack includes the 43-mile long route from Boston to Providence, as well as the Stoughton branch and a very limited selection of Amtrak and MBTA rolling stock. It's about time we got the Acela added to this route, or at the very least the MBTA HSP46. Now we're at Moulsecoombe Station on the East Coastway route in England, but for the sake of reducing redundancy, this will be the only ECW station featured in this video. This section of the video features the Class 313 and 377 electric multiple units. The 377 Electrostar does come with this route, while the 313 is sold separately. Last but not least, although for whatever reason, I wanted to feature the Metro North Railroad's Harlem line again, and on this occasion we'll be doing a little bit of railfanning at Wakefield Station. This time around I'm not going to go over what the pack includes, as I've already done so in my Harlem line review video. Wakefield Station first opened in the 1840s, when the New York and Harlem Railroad, later the New York Central, was extending the line towards Tuckahoe. Initially, Wakefield was the terminus of electrification in 1907, until it was extended to White Plains in 1909. Currently, the Harlem Line's electrification ends at southeast, at least 55 miles north of Grand Central. This station is 12.6 miles north of Grand Central, and served exclusively by Harlem Line local trains. Express trains always pass through Wakefield without stopping. Well, I think that's enough rail fanning for today, so I think I'll go ahead and end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed revisiting TSW2 as much as I did.